In this example, we're going to construct a Venn diagram that contains three sets. And here we have A, B, and C within a universal set. And it's pretty standard. They have these three interlocking circles that we wind up using. So I'm going to make the first subset right here. And it doesn't have to be anything fancy. As you can see, mine are not the best. But as long as it lends some clarity. And this is going to be our first set. This will be set A. Then, of course, we're going to make set B, and they're going to overlap. And the reason they overlap is because some elements in A are also in B, and some elements in B are also in A. And then we just continue that. Here's C. Now, these three subsets sit inside the universal set. So we pretty much describe the universal set using some sort of rectangle that encloses these three subsets. And then we could just label that as the universal set, U. So this is pretty much it. This is pretty standard as far as what a Venn diagram looks like with three subsets. They don't have to necessarily be labeled in this order, but it just makes it simple and easy to follow. Now, as you can see, and we've discussed before, that when you have these three subsets, it breaks the Venn diagram into these 8 different regions. Here's the first one. Now, each one of these regions represents some sort of relationship between the subsets. So now what we're going to do is we're going to fill the Venn diagram in with the elements here to properly represent the relationship that's going on here. Now, there is no hard standard way to be able to fill this in. You could pretty much do it any way you want as long as it's correct. But I have found that it can be done in 4 simple steps. And without a doubt, the first step that you should always take is, when possible, fill in region 5 here, which is where all 3 of the subsets intersect. So we'll come back over here and we look for all the elements that are in all 3 sets. And you can see I've got an I right here. And it looks like we've got a U. So I'm just going to put that in. I and U. Then I'm going to find out what's not in any of the sets. That's going to sit out here, obviously region 8. So it's going to sit out here somewhere. So I'm going to go through here carefully and see if there are any elements that are not in any of the subsets, but is in the universal set. And I can see 7 right here. So 7 is the only element that's not in any of the subsets. So that's going to go out here. The next step is to go ahead and fill in where just 2 of the subsets intersect. And it doesn't matter which region you start with first, as long as you use that as the next step. So we'll just do the intersection between set A and B. So of course I just looked for A and B, and I looked through here to see what elements they have in common, and it looks like 3. Now they already have I and U, so it looks like 3 is the only one that's left. And then we go ahead and we continue that around. So I'm going to look for here for B and C. And it looks like they have A in 9. They already have I and U. But here I'm going to put in 9 and A. And then we'll finally do where A and C intersect. And it looks like, other than I and U, the only other thing they have is Y. Then finally, the last step is to go ahead and fill in the remaining elements for each of the subsets individually. So what's left over for A? It looks like letter E. What's left over for B? It looks like 0, or I should say that's an O, and 1. And then what's left over for C is 5 and 11. So it seems as though we start where all three intersect, then we go to where none of them intersect, and then we go to where 2 intersect, and then we go to where there's no intersection. So we kind of go from the center and build our way out. But there you go.